waves rolling in. Sand is surfing, let the truth begin.
Diving deep where others fear to go. Promaga fire putting on a show. Sammy's dancing left and right, he spins. Aloha spirit, that's where it begins.
Hey, hey, Santa, ride that silver wave. Sammy grooving, nothing left to say. Banks are shaking, squeezes feeling tight. First lady shining in a silver dress bright.
Trump's returning, victory inside. Beach broadcast booming every day and night. Aloha joy,
Hold that dream so high.
Aloha, this is Santa Surfing. Welcome to Beach Broadcast. Today is Monday, April 27th, 2026. Wow, what a weekend, huh? Please follow my new YouTube channel right here. The other old YouTube channel, they're deleting videos as they're going up, even though the videos are very, very short on the other YouTube channel. They are taking them down, so please follow me there, or you can watch my videos on Rumble. Our show is sponsored by Meta247 Now, that provides ivermectin and nalfenbendazole. The ivermectin pills are 12 milligram pills, not your 6 milligram, but 12 milligram pills as low as $1.75 a pill. And what's really fantastic also is that it's really easy to order. You just call 888-749-0261, or you can go ahead and go to the website and go through the contact form. With any ivermectin order, they're still offering the 2 free blister packs, which are 20 additional ivermectin pills for free with any order. So contact them by going to Meta247 Now or 888-749-0261. I'm having technical difficulties with my hosting company that posts my website, so we're not able to put an article out. So I'm just going to go ahead and give you the news through a podcast only. Last Friday, I had a podcast, and it was about events that are unfolding, that are up in the air, the Moabs that are up in the air. Well, we were also talking about the White House correspondent dinner. Now, it's interesting because President Trump really didn't make a big deal about it. However, we did know that the White House, the media, they were freaking out. There were like 250 journalists that were really protesting President Trump being there, and they were just pretty much doing this. Jeff the Ref, he posted this. Pretty much the press corps right now. Yeah, it was pretty much that. Now, I'm going to go ahead and just show some footage and information and clips, and this podcast you have to decide on your own. I haven't watched the White House correspondent dinner ever since Loser Barry made that really snide remark to Trump, and I thought, no, I'm not going to listen to this anymore. It's just a bunch of White House, or just a bunch of news people that are just giving a bunch of attaboys to each other. Well, Caroline Levitt. So what happens is you have to be invited by one of the media tables. So there was like a table for media A, media B, media C. Well, media A will invite who they would like. Apparently, President Trump's cabinet they were invited by different media, different ones. Caroline Levitt, she was there. Now remember, she's planning to go on her maternity leave, but she was there, and Fox News had talked to her. But listen to what she said. Now, again, I believe and listen to how she words this. Remember, she is the press secretary. She's very articulate in what she says and how she says it. But listen exactly to what and how she says this when the Fox News reporter stopped her during their red carpet entrance.
To rumble, is he not?
He is ready to rumble. I will tell you, this speech tonight will be classic Donald J. Trump. It'll be funny. It'll be entertaining. There will be some shots fired tonight in the room. So everyone should tune in. It's going to be really great. I'm looking forward to hearing it.
Okay, I heard her say this week tonight. She may have said this speech tonight. I cannot tell you how many anons or surfers, or not surfers really, but anons, were doing oh my gosh, they're hair splitting with me, cussing me out, calling me names. What's wrong, Santa? You're not, you know what, have we lost you? And I'm thinking, nuh-uh, you guys are totally missing it. But I'll get to that in a moment. But if she said this week tonight, is she hinting this week? Because there was something that happened, very big, that happened that we've been waiting 9-10 years to have happen. But that happened right before I hit the record button for this podcast. Okay, so this guy right here is Oz Perlman. He was supposed to be the host for the correspondent dinner, and then President Trump was going to give his presentation, his speech. We have the White House correspondent chairperson. She was up there. Now, I don't know. Anyway, I have my opinions, but you decide. Melania sitting next to President Trump, and then we have Carolyn Levitt sitting next to Melania. What this Oz Perlman, just in short, C-SPAN had interviewed him a couple days before the event, and he used to be a Wall Street guy. He used to work for, I believe it was Merrill Lynch. He's now a magician, or he's now a mentalist. He can read minds. He wanted to read Trump's minds. Well, what he did is he was trying to do a little magic trick with Carolyn. Carolyn had not revealed the name of her upcoming baby's name. However, he made a guess. So that's what was going on here. There are other clips on that. I just won't show it to you. I just want you to be aware of it. But now this is what happened. This is when the shooting happened. Now, C-SPAN was the one that was going live while everyone was sitting down having dinner, all talking and swanking it up and giving attaboys to each other. But this is what happened. And just watch all these facial expressions, but then it zooms out. Take a look at this. This is from a different angle, from behind the main table. President Trump posted this through El Donato. Who the F was protecting me? What happened is they escorted J.D. Vance out first, and then they had President and Melania Trump sitting there like lame ducks. They were just sitting there, and we have a pregnant Carolyn Levitt, their press secretary. Melania had to duck. I couldn't see what happened to Carolyn, but she had to duck underneath the table. Then they ended up escorting them out, and they fell down. It was like, what the heck is wrong with these people, right? I don't know. I'm having a really hard time, guys. That's why I couldn't really do a podcast yesterday because I was really angry about all of this and how it was all handled. President Trump, he posted this about the Oz Perlman. What the heck was an Israeli mentalist magician doing there anyway? And then if he was able to read minds, again, totally, again, I'm just saying this, just thinking out loud. If he really truly was like I can read your mind, I can read. Well, what the heck? Why weren't you able to go ahead and give President Trump, the Secret Service, somebody heads up about what was going to happen, right? Now, before I go on, because some of you might be sitting here listening to the podcast and going, oh, come on, Santa, you know this is a movie. Yeah, but this is my sentiment and this is my attitude. And it doesn't have to be for everybody. It's just me speaking out loud. We all know that some of the events are part of the plan or some are false flags. But for many people that they really were having heartless conversations with, whether it's trying to have one with me, I just hit the old block or mute button because it was... Guys, I'm trying to give you information. It doesn't cost you a dime to get access to my information. Not one dime to get any access to it. I just do this because I want you to be informed. But I am not going, whether it's a movie or a part of the plan or whatever, because as we know, what Q says, enjoy the movie, enjoy its part, trust the plan. Well, during this time, I'm not just going to sit idle and say, oh, I'm just going to eat my popcorn and watch the movie. No, I'm going to still fight, guys, because we have an audience that's watching us. They're looking at us and saying, okay, so as I'm out there doing my posting, I have a strategic reason why I do this. Now, we cannot control those crazed Lone Rangers out there, and Carolyn Levitt, she says that she's spot on what she said in her presser today. And she discusses this very issue, that there are crazed Lone Rangers. They don't know Q. They don't really pay attention to President Trump, the MAGA movement, America First. They're they're so busy working their jobs, doing what they have to do, but then they come home, they turn on CNN or MS Now or MSNBC or whatever it's called now, and they listen and they think it's gospel. And then who do they show? Who do the liberal media, who do they show? They show and they play clips of the hateful rhetoric coming from the left, which I'll get to. Actually, I'm going to do that right now, and then I'm going to play Caroline Leavitt's. And just putting our minds into the mind of a liberal. I know you don't want to do it. You don't have to, but thinking about their mindset is, oh my gosh, I need to go do that. These are just a couple of examples. Here's an elected official from New Jersey who comes out with this kind of rhetoric. Again, I'm going to play a few other clips.
Because if we wanted to eliminate abuse and fraud, we'd eliminate the President of the United States from the office right now and the rest of the sycophants in his administration that are allowing him to do so many illegal things.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be.
People need to start taking to the streets. This is a dictator.
You know, there needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
Enemies of the state.
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
Do something about your dad's immigration practices, you feckless.
When they go low, we kick them.
How do you resist the temptation to run up and wring her neck?
The biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized right up to the right.
I thought he should have punched him in the face. I said, even if you lost, he insulted your wife.
Yes.
He came down the escalator and called Mexicans rapists and murderers. He said, well, what do you think I should have done? I said, I think you should have punched him in the face and then gotten out of the race. You would have been a hero.
I'd like to punch him in the face. I said if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
Punch some people in the face.
When was the last time an actor...
I just...
And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere. And Mr. President, we will see you every day, every hour of the day, everywhere that we are, to let you know you cannot get away with this. Thank you so very much.
And here's Caroline Leavitt tying everything together and naming some names with their quotes.
These are despicable statements that the American people have been consuming for years, and so many mentally perturbed individuals are led to believe these words are truth and then are inspired to act on it. I have a whole host of examples that we can share with you after. It is pages and pages of major Democrat Party elected officials saying, such as Rep. Hakeem Jeffries just this month said, "We are in an era of maximum warfare everywhere all the time." Governor Josh Shapiro said heads need to roll within the administration. Senator Alex Padilla said people are, quote, dying because of fear and terror caused by the Trump administration. Senator Elizabeth Warren, President Trump is making the country look like a, quote, fascist state. Senator Adam Schiff saying President Trump using a dictator playbook. Senator Ed Markey calling President Trump a dictator, saying that this administration's actions are authoritarianism on steroids. Governor J.B. Pritzker, never before in my life have I called for mass protest disruptions. These Republicans cannot know a moment of peace. You have Rep. Presley saying, we'll see you in the streets. Rep. Monica McIver, a Democrat representative on Capitol Hill, we will not take this shit from Donald Trump. He thinks he's a dictator. We are at war. These are Democrat elected officials calling for war against the President of the United States and his supporters. I could go on and on, but again, when you have people in positions of power that are saying things like this every single day for years, you are inspiring violence by people who are already mentally ill.
And did the media even care about what was going on, the safety, the welfare of President Melania Trump and his cabinet? No, they were busy stealing champagne bottles and taking selfies and smiling and just laughing it up.
Tragically, we've covered shootings, we've covered all sorts of scary and terrible events, but it's not often where you have a loved one next to you in that moment.
Salty Goat posted this. Our media summed up perfectly in a single picture. This is an actual picture, guys, of the media just drinking right out of the bottle, still eating their food while chaos is going on. They don't care. They just didn't care. Lyndon Blake posted this. Andy Ogles, and if you want to know who Andy Ogles is, he's a congressman for Tennessee, told him he heard a reporter at the White House correspondent dinner Saturday night say, I hope they kill the orange MF, talking about President Trump while she was hiding from the shooter. Check this out.
There was a reporter, I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say it. There was a reporter in the room who was under a table. And when the shots went off and everybody's hiding, she said, I hope they killed the orange MF. That was a journalist in the room who was hoping that when she stood up, the President of the United States would be dead. So I'm coming to a public venue where I know it might be hostile to expose myself to an honest dialogue, an open dialogue. And if you ask me a question and I don't have an answer, I will get you something in writing or we can talk on the phone. But when you have members of the press openly enticing, hoping, talking about killing the chief executive officer of this country, again, Muslim, Jew, Hindu, I don't care. That's a problem.
I'm sorry, what did she say?
Takes me back to my spidey senses. Why was the media so unfazed after the shooting? And they're out there stealing bottles of booze and just laughing it up like nothing happened, guys. This is not normal. So the names that were named is by Carolyn Levitt just a minute ago. They are individuals here. You see the list. But two of them in particular, this is why the media, the left, they're pushing really hard. Elizabeth Warren, she is a recipient, as we learned in the last podcast, she's a recipient of the SPLC funds. LaMonica McIver, she is indicted on 3 counts of assault on, I'm going to call it nice, and she's now facing 17 years. This is what scares them the most, because we also know Adam Schiff's under investigation as well. Pritzker, I think he's under investigation, but that's what scares them the most. They have to try to get the new sheriff in town away, and that's really horrible. And President Trump, through Il Donato, posted a clip of Carolyn Levitt again, and she just has a very strong statement, but his remarks are Democrats and their fake news cronies are completely responsible for this violence.
President Trump is fearless because he loves this country, and he is willing to put his own life on the line to deliver on the promises that he made to the American public who elected him here into the highest office in the land. And while we are blessed to have a fearless president, we should not live in a country where such constant fear of political violence permeates our society every single day. We can and we should have fierce disagreement in this country. As you all know, we disagree often, myself in this role and all of you in the news media, but those disagreements must remain peaceful. Debating, peaceful protesting, and voting are how we need to settle disagreements, not bullets. Nobody in recent years has faced more bullets and more violence than President Trump. This political violence stems from a systemic demonization of him and his supporters by commentators, yes, by elected members of the Democrat Party, and even some in the media. This hateful and constant and violent rhetoric directed at President Trump day after day after day for 11 years has helped to legitimize this violence and bring us to this dark moment. Those who constantly falsely label and slander the president as a fascist, as a threat to democracy, and compare him to Hitler to score political points are fueling this kind of violence. The left-wing cult of hatred against the president and all of those who support him and work for him has gotten multiple people hurt and killed, and it almost did so again this weekend. When you read the manifesto of this shooter, ask yourselves, how different is the rhetoric from this almost assassin than what you read on social media and hear in various forums every single day? The answer, if you're being honest with yourself, is that there is no difference at all. Much of the manifesto of the would-be assassin is indistinguishable from the words that we hear daily from so many.
In the manifesto, it confirms what Todd Blanche was saying, in that President Trump and his cabinet members were the targets.
Developments after a shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner last night. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche stating that he believes that President Trump and cabinet members were the likely target.
And I'm tired of it. I am tired. Movie plot or not, I am tired because it's the aftermath. It's these sick wackos that go out there and say, oh, all of MAGA should be this and all. We don't do that. President Trump, he is still gracious with people that can't stand him. When they, let's say they pass or an incident happens, he still does post something. 99.99% of the time, he'll post something nice about that person. But the left is just so deranged. There have been, I asked how many attempts were taken on Trump's life that have been public, that have been made public. And if you were to take a look at all of these are some of the events. There are a total of 10 events where President Trump's life was threatened. That became public news. From what I understand, there's a lot more than that much has not been revealed to us. But 10 attempts, guys. If this was one of the liberal boneheads in office, you'd have the fake news plastering every moment of every day since that White House correspondent dinner to now about the safety, right? We have to keep our president safe. They didn't do it with President Trump. And in retrospect, what President Trump has done in reverse is...
John, your phone rang early this morning?
Yeah, my phone rang shortly after 7 a.m. My landline, George, actually a number that few people call, and it was President Trump calling. He said at first he was calling to see if I was okay with what happened last night. Are you okay? And then he reiterated many of the things he said in his press conference last night, emphasizing the unity that he felt in that moment, that he felt at the dinner before the shooting and certainly after with the people who reached out to him. And he said absolutely, and he was quite firm about this, that dinner must be rescheduled. It must be rescheduled. He knows that I was a former president of the White House Correspondents Association and had worked with him on a dinner that never actually happened back during COVID. And he was saying, we've got to get this dinner back on. It has to happen.
John, your phone rang early this
Did any of the reporters call President Trump just to see how he was doing? Do we have reporters that are out there just actually looking out for President Trump? You don't see it, guys, and it's the MAGA movement. It's you are the news. You don't realize how important and valuable you are in this entire movement. But here is the President of the United States calling one of the journalists, one of the reporters, asking how they're doing and then calling for unity. President Trump did say he wanted to have another White House correspondent dinner or a version of it within 30 days. Jimmy Kimmel did something really, really bad. He had on his show, he was having pretending like he was one of the speakers. And this is what he said. And Melania and Barron Trump were not in the audience, as he so states in this stupid clip.
Our First Lady Melania is here. Look at Melania, so beautiful. Mrs. Trump, you have a glow like an expectant widow.
And the audience laughs. How evil is that? And how brainwashed is that audience? Now this is what Carolyn Levitt says.
For example, as the First Lady of the United States pointed out this morning, just 2 days prior to the shooting, ABC's late night host Jimmy Kimmel disgustingly called First Lady Melania Trump an expectant widow. Who in their right minds says a wife would be glowing over the potential murder of her beloved husband? And having experienced what I did with the First Lady on Saturday night, I can tell you that she was anything but that.
President Trump, through Il Donato, did post this. The dark First Lady rises, meaning dark MAGA guys. Melania doesn't take what from these stupid fake news people. So is this what's going to happen to ABC News? And then Carolyn continues on and says this about the funding for DHS.
Tonight served as yet another reminder of how important it is to fund the Department of Homeland Security. It is shameful that the United States Congress has kept this vital agency defunded for 73 days, the longest shutdown of a federal agency in U.S. history.
So is it all connecting the dots, and you decide, was this all a big fake news / Democrat Party coup to do what they did, because I will say this, for those that stayed in the ballroom, they didn't look scared. They didn't look concerned. They were they were stealing wine bottles, drinking from the bottles, eating whatever was on the table, just laughing it up like nothing was going on, as if they already knew. So Jimmy Kimmel, Trump has called for him. So Jimmy Kimmel, Trump has called for him to get fired. This is a post today. Jimmy Kimmel, who's in no way funny, as attested by his terrible television ratings, made a statement on his show that is really shocking. He showed a fake video of Melania and Barron, like they were actually sitting in the studio listening to him speak, which they weren't, and never would be. Then he stated, "Our First Lady Melania is here. Look at Melania, so beautiful. Mrs. Trump, you have a glow like an expectant widow." A day later, a lunatic tried entering the ballroom at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, loaded up with a shotgun, handgun, and many knives. He was there for a very obvious and sinister reason. I appreciate that so many people are incensed with Kimmel's despicable call to violence, and normally would not be responsible to do anything but be responsible to anything that he said, but this is something far beyond pale. Kimmel should be fired immediately by Disney and ABC. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Well, again, guys, we know who's going to be taking over the media, the big name media. Now, will Kimmel lose his job? But will there be something else? Did he provoke anything else, right? Again, tying it all in with what Carolyn Lovett said. Then I've got one more thing to cover. Last week, before the White House Correspondent Dinner, President Trump had posted posts on treason, and even posted the word treason, and he even posted this video. And now I'm going to show you what what dirty Democrat Congress wants to do. Again, guys, bigger things are on its way. We know when this kind of stuff happens, big things start to drop. Check this out.
We knew Hillary created the dossier, and now we have proof that Barack was calling the shots, and the documents to prove it.
Declassified documents revealing former CIA Director John Brennan briefed then-President Obama on Hillary Clinton's purported plan to smear then-candidate Trump in 2016, adding to what the National Intelligence Director has already declassified on this issue, and raising more questions tonight about how much more of this will come out before Election Day. Good evening, Mike.
Brett, good evening. These are handwritten notes from former CIA Director John Brennan, written according to a source familiar after Brennan briefed President Obama. At one point, Brennan writes, quote, approved by Hillary Clinton, a proposal from one of her foreign policy advisors to vilify Donald Trump by stirring up a scandal claiming interference by the Russian security service. The notes say on 28 of July, in the margin, Brennan writes POTUS, but that section of the notes are redacted. Then it says any evidence of collaboration between Trump campaign and Russia. The remainder of the notes are redacted, except in the margins where it says JC, Dennis, and Susan. That could be referring to former FBI Director James Comey, former Obama Chief of Staff Dennis McDonough, and former National Security Advisor Susan Rice. The CIA sent a memo to former FBI Director James Comey and Peter Strzok writing, quote, the following information is provided for the exclusive use of your Bureau for background investigative action or lead purposes as appropriate. One example, the CIA includes, quote, an exchange redacted discussing U.S. presidential candidate Hillary Clinton's approval of a plan concerning U.S. presidential candidate Donald Trump and Russian hackers hampering U.S. elections as a means of distracting the public from her use of a private email server.
So hang in there, because I got some news that ties in with what that was posted. I got some news that just got released today. So this is in sum what the evil people want to do. So Trump posts this video and other treason posts. The White House Correspondent Dinner shooting plot failed. And then Congress wants Trump removed because of his treason post. So he's going to be, they're saying, this is from, again, liberal media facing 25th Amendment calls. What? President Trump posts the word treason and they're all up in arms? Well, they're scared about much more than that, guys. First of all, the arraignment happened today, and this is what that Cole Allen, I'm not even going to get into the digs on Cole Allen. That's another podcast in itself. But the Cole Allen This is what his charges are and what he faces. Again, think about the eyes of the Democrats, the dirty politicians, dirty Democrats that are trying to take down President Trump and his administration and what he's trying to do. If there has been any kind of plots or anybody that's involved in trying to assassinate President Trump, think about the inciting of violence. Think about listening to these charges. Would any of it apply to the elected officials all around the country?
Reading this from our colleague in the courtroom, Jake Gibson, Cole Allen is facing 3 counts. Count 1, attempt to assassinate the President of the United States, up to life in prison. I'm just reading this on my phone in real time. Transporting a firearm across state lines, 10 years and $250,000 fine. And the 3rd count is discharge of a firearm during a crime of violence, a mandatory minimum of 10 years. So the first is attempt to assassinate the President of the United States, up to life in prison. Then the second 2, transporting a firearm across state lines. And number 3, and the final, discharge of a firearm during a crime of violence. Reading this from our colleague.
And again, remember, tying it all back into having certain kinds of activity when there are death penalty cases. Last week that was reported that there will be the firing squad. So a lot of these dirty politicians, swamp people, they're scared. So what happened today? The Skiff, who gets reposted by President Trump a lot lately, posted this, that there were 12 pages released by Chuck Grassley for a preliminary investigation on the Clinton Foundation, and this includes, of course, the pay-to-play, uranium. It includes Uranium One and Haiti and Boeing, and there's more, guys. So that just got released today. It's pretty damning, guys. It's stuff that you had already been talking about. It's things that we wanted to have happen. There was an investigation during the Comey days. Of course, he drops it, and he comes out, on July 3rd, 2020 or 2016, and says, we're going to not do anything to Hillary Clinton. Well, now we have this here. So this is the 12-page document. If you want to grab it, please go to my Twitter account, and then you'll be able to see all of this. So he has put this out there as a preliminary investigation. And then President Trump, through Il Donato, posted the great job by the Supreme Court. This is just posted today. Great job by the Supreme Court upholding the new Texas congressional map. 5 more seats for Republicans, baby. Now, again, guys, these are five House seats for the Republicans. So if they just upheld the map, how many other cases are sitting at the Supreme Court that we don't even know about, guys? So 5 more seats, guys, is big. White House had posted this soon. President Trump and Melania Trump will welcome King Charles and Queen Camilla for an official state visit. They're going to be here for a 4-day visit. They are going to be doing, President Trump will be busy with working and touring them around. I'm not too sure if this is a red carpet entrance or event, but what will happen, so they're going to go and tour around, but from looking at Q deltas, it looks like some big things will be coming in. They're kind of coming down the pike. Dan Scavino posted this yesterday at 4. He posted 4:25 Saturday night at 10:15 p.m. Eastern time, because his actual post was not at 10:15, but he posted at 10:15 Eastern time. Okay, if you do that into military code, it comes out to Q2215, and this is what it is. Panic in UK, DC. Oh my! And who's coming to visit today? You see where this is going? This is a Delta that's coming in 2 days, April 29th. It's Q4006. It has a link to a President Trump tweet. This is the tweet. My campaign for president was conclusively spied on. Nothing like this has ever happened in American politics. A really bad situation. Treason means long jail sentences, and this was treason. So the Delta says, Q writes, be ready, Q. Get your memes ready and get your AI-generated stuff ready, but please label it as AI. Otherwise, you'll get flagged on different social media platforms. But yeah, get your memes ready, guys. Get your umbrellas ready for all the liberal tears that are going to be coming out, too, because you and I both know what the things that are leading to this week. So just a few other things just to be aware of. This week, our new financial system is supposed to be rolling out. Elon Musk had announced that X Money, it is a online bank. It's not your typical bank you walk into. It's an online bank. You can get 6% yield on your money in there. From what other people are saying, there has no minimum, so it's kind of cool. And it's getting itself ready to be a very, very big platform. But so this is part of the new financial system that's coming out. And then there was also this. The Ripple XRP conference is happening today in Las Vegas. Ripple posted this. Good morning, Las Vegas. Great week ahead for crypto and XRP. Glad we could add to the skyline. Kenny Nguyen posted, Happy XRP Las Vegas Conference 2026. Oh my gosh. So this week, on the 30th, there's going to be the XRP conference in Las Vegas. Oh, it's the Ripple and XRP in Las Vegas from the 30th through the 1st. Ripple posted this. Good morning, Vegas. Great week ahead for crypto and XRP. Glad we could add to the skyline. Oh my God. Crypto Daily News posted this. XRP ad spotted just a block away from the Las Vegas Sphere. Hotels are putting this up on their, look at that. Isn't that cool? Guys, this is, again, it's been kind of quiet. We've been kind of like not paying attention to this, but we got big events happening. As we still have all the fraud stuff. We have now the new release of the preliminary investigation on Clinton Foundation. That happened today. We've got Charles and Camilla coming out here. So President and Melania Trump will be busy up until Thursday. We've got X Money coming out this week. And then we've got this conference happening on the 30th. Big week ahead. Big changes to our whole lives, right? So yeah, different things are going to be happening all at the same time. So get yourselves ready. And just if you need to take a break, but come back quickly because we'll need all hands on deck. Thanks so much for listening to this podcast. Soon you'll be able to do this more often than not, guys, and just enjoy all the hard work that you have put out there over these last 10, 11 years. God bless you abundantly. Have a beautiful day, afternoon, evening. Thanks for listening and sharing to this podcast. And I will have a show very soon. Aloha.